This just in from Shams Charania. The NBA will retire the number 6 league-wide honoring the late legendary player and activist Bill Russell. Man, do you love to see that. So well-deserved. Go down, type 6 in the comments to honor the late, great Celtics GOAT, Bill Russell, whose jersey is being retired league-wide by the NBA. Welcome into Celtics Today. I am Will Scott. There is a lot to discuss on today's show. We have heard a lot in the last 36 hours or so about Kevin Durant. We're going to update you on what we know, which is why you should subscribe, because we're keeping you up to date on the Boston Celtics like no other page. We're giving you multiple Celtics videos a week, and if Celtics news goes down, regardless of if I'm in studio, out of studio, we're going to get you guys a video. Go down, hit that big red subscribe button. So we learned this the other day, or actually yesterday. The Nets wanted Jayson Tatum and, keyword, and Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. This coming from Adam Himmelsbach of the Boston Globe. According to the source, Brooklyn initially tried to pry both Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown from Boston. Good grief. That proposal went nowhere, of course. The source confirmed recent reports that Brooklyn later shifted its focus to a deal centered on Brown, Marcus Smart, in a massive haul of future first-round draft picks. But the Celtics were not interested. Really, Brooklyn? Really? I mean, what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to be Kevin Costner in Draft Day, the movie, and try to just get all your picks back and try to just fleece teams? Because that's not going to happen. Kevin Durant is going to be 34 years old at the start of the season, and you wanted 2 young superstars for Kevin Durant. Are y'all insane? Y'all need to get checked out, Sean Marks. You need to get checked out, because this is the most absurd thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And, of course, Brad Stevens was not interested. I can't even imagine how long he laughed at Sean Marks over the phone, which is why we were also going to laugh at the Brooklyn Nets. Go down in the comments section and type LOL Nets, because the Nets have become one of the biggest laughing stocks in the National Basketball Association. This organization is a joke. Kyrie probably wants out. Kevin Durant definitely wants out. Go down, type LOL Nets, because after getting swept by our Boston Celtics, they have been in absolute disarray and are a joke. Type LOL Nets. This is what Kurt Helin said from NBC Sports. There's a couple different KD scoops here, so we'll take you through all these scoops. It goes without saying, Tatum is untouchable. The Celtics reportedly offered Brown, Derek White, and a first-round pick, and the negotiations progress from there. Himmelsbach also confirmed there's no real traction in talks right now. The concern for Boston in all of this is alienating Brown, who is not happy to see his name come up in trade talks. My response to this report is, well, duh. Of course Boston's going to be concerned about alienating Brown, which is why they shouldn't have offered him in a trade to begin with. Like, why would you do that? Of course he's going to be upset about it. That's not a surprise. He was already kind of rumored to feel disrespected by Boston. Now he feels really disrespected because this is the package that the Celtics put together a couple weeks back. We know that this is what the Celtics offered for Kevin Durant, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first-round pick. The Nets declined, wanting Marcus Smart and more draft picks. Ian Begley of SNY said this, and he's very, very much in the know with the Brooklyn Nets. Durant sees Boston as a desired landing spot, per people familiar with the matter. Durant also would like to play with Boston's Marcus Smart if he is traded to the Celtics. Interesting. Per people familiar with the matter, it is unknown if Boston and Brooklyn have made progress on a deal. SNY reported last week that there have been pessimism about a Durant trade being completed in the near future. Now, if I asked you once, I'll ask you again. Do you want to trade for Kevin Durant? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Obviously, it would probably take giving up JB to get him, so I think we're going to see a lot of P's for pass down in the comment section. We do know this as well, that Robert Williams is off limits in any deal. That has been reported by a couple different people, that he will not be included in any Kevin Durant trade, that he is off limits. Here is what he did last season, and look, they signed him to that 4-year extension last offseason. A lot of people were screaming overpay around the league, when in reality, it's kind of a steal. 10 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, 2 blocks per game, 73.6% from the field. He is great on both ends. Now, when you're taking a look at the Celtics center situation, you have Luke Kornet right now as your number 2 center. I don't know if it's going to be like that when season starts, but that is the situation right now. Noah Vonleh, you brought him in. Bruno Caboclo has a training camp deal, and then Fiondu Kabengele has a 2-way contract. He looked very good in the Celtics Summer League. My response to this, in terms of Williams being off limits, is good, because you can't trade him. In the words of Tyler Jones, good, because you cannot trade Robert Williams III, because you look at the current center situation is Trace Gerard, producer Trace and I are having a great time here on Chat Sports. You can't trade him, because if you trade him, is Luke Kornet going to be your number 1 center? I don't care if you make a 3-team trade and then Kornet's your number 2 center for like 2 seconds. He cannot at any point be your number 1 center. That is just not going to happen. So they cannot trade Robert Williams, because the center position behind Williams is a position of weakness right now for the Celtics. They cannot afford to trade Robert Williams III, and you cannot afford to miss out on the shirt, because we're giving you a great deal. Chatsports.com/RealWin. That's our motto here at Chat Sports. If you watch Celtics today on Chat Sports, you are a real one. So order your shirt today, chatsports.com/RealWin. If you get this shirt and you tweet at WillScott44, if we get my Twitter link up on the screen, if you tweet at WillScott44 a picture of you in this shirt, I will give you a shout-out on air. Put your picture up on air. I'm talking about the Boston Celtics. I'm talking about the NBA. I'm talking about the NFL. At WillScott44, show me you got that shirt, and I will give you a shout-out on the air. Going back to more scoops on KD, Kurt Helin from NBC said this: despite Durant's best efforts, things likely stay quiet on the trade front until it gets closer to training camp in September. The big question then becomes, are Joe Tsai and GM Sean Marks willing to be uncomfortable? Will they wait out a Durant offer they think is fair, like Daryl Morey did with Ben Simmons last season, or will they cave and trade KD just to get something and move on? We'll find out in about a month or so. Now, Scoop B. Robinson, that's a great name, Scoop B. He's got all the scoops, said this, because there's a new team that has been linked to Kevin Durant. 76ers feelings on a Kevin Durant pairing are mutual, I'm told. Per someone in the know, to Bally Sports, that bleep is real. When KD made that ultimatum, the Sixers were right on the phone. Here's my take on that. Even if Philly gets Kevin Durant, the Celtics are still the better team. Just like in my opinion, at least. They're the better team. They're still going to win the East, even if the 76ers get Kevin Durant. Moving on to Nick Wright, he said this: Philly doesn't have draft picks. New Orleans and Boston, they're the only 2 teams trading those assets would still be a contender. That coming from Nick Wright. Now go down, subscribe if you love the Celtics, because we're talking about Celtics news, Celtics rumors on Celtics Today.